Joe Biden giving his final television interview as president, repeating his warning for the future of democracy.
What I'm worried about is that the thing that keeps it on track are the guardrails. There's a Supreme Court that's independent, but accountable. There's a Congress that you speak your mind, but you're held accountable to basic standards. There's a presidency that says you have really limited powers. I don't know, we just seem to be chipping away at all those elements.
New Jersey Congressman Van Drew joins us now with his reaction. Congressman, good morning to you. This is different. I mean, usually you get a final message from an outgoing president where he talks about hope for the future and discusses his accomplishments. But Joe Biden yesterday said that he is afraid for our country and the future of our democracy. Do you share similar concerns?
No, of course not. And, you know, it's kind of telling. I mean, this is his last important speech where he should really leave that message, you know, that message of hope, of unity, of Americanism, of American exceptionalism, and the extraordinary nature of this country and how we all must come together for that future. And instead, he speaks about, you know, it was almost a political speech, at least it was couched in politics, how now he's really concerned. I'll be honest with you. The majority of Americans in the popular vote and the electoral vote were concerned about the future of the America that he was taking us to. We were concerned about where he was going, concerned about the decisions that were being made. Honest to God, you know, we all do. When you're a member of Congress, you also talk to a lot of real, regular people on Main Street. They were afraid for our country. When the president won, and I mean the president-elect, our new president, when President Trump won, so many people come up to me sincerely with tears in their eyes that there was hope and faith in this great nation once again.
And Democrats and Republicans alike. Wasn't just Republicans who sort of expressed those similar sentiments, not only to you, but to a lot of folks. Meantime, Kristi Noem headed to Capitol Hill today for her confirmation hearing to be Trump's DHS secretary. This follows another pretty solid day from Trump nominees Besson and Burgum yesterday. What stood out to you from their hearings yesterday?
Well, just that these are solid people with gravitas, people who are real, people who are always going to have America, the United States of America, in their mind, that we're not going to be worried about all the political issues, but going to be worried about how do we make America stronger and better. So if you speak about our new Secretary who's going to be our new Secretary of Interior, Doug Burgum, he spoke about the importance of energy. Let me tell you, we are driven by energy, and rather than depend on other countries for our energy needs, we should be producing energy. We should be exporting energy. America leads. America's the shining light. America's where everybody else follows us, and I'm not afraid to say that. Throughout all of these cabinet picks, you can see that philosophy and that belief. We have to make sure, whether it's in the Secretary of Interior and the work that they will do, that we're not putting America second, that we're not worried about other countries more. So we can have a good environment. We can keep the beauty and the awe of America, and yet at the same time be #1 in energy around the world. And that philosophy flowed through all these cabinet picks when they were interviewed, that yes, they're going to do their job and they're going to do it well, always within the thought of America first. There's nothing wrong with those words. Making America great again, there's nothing wrong with those words. It's only folks who are perverse that make those things sound bad.
Well, Congressman, on the topic of energy, you represent a portion of southern New Jersey, which includes a lot of beautiful beach towns. And we understand that you were tasked with writing an executive order to halt the construction of new wind turbines for 6 months. So the aforementioned likely incoming Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum could review the use of them and do a cost-benefit analysis. And the topic of offshore wind is something that came up during his confirmation hearing yesterday with Angus King, who happens to be pro-wind. Listen to this.
I hope one of the projects you might undertake when and if you are confirmed, is to convince your boss that wind power isn't all bad.
We've got to have the right balance, and we maybe have tipped a little too far in one direction. So I think that's the key piece for us.
And I just want to bring up one more thing. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social on Wednesday, windmills are an economic and environmental disaster. I don't want even one built during my administration. So why do you and the president-elect feel so strongly about this issue?
You know, I've lived and breathed this. And years ago, I was a voice out in the wilderness, but President Trump and I have spoken about this many times, and he certainly is right on point in what he says. Let me be clear. Wind turbines out in the ocean are a disaster. They are bad for the environment. They are bad for the whales. It's bad for tourism. It's bad for the fishing industry. It is bad for national security. People sometimes picture, you know, windmills and these bucolic small wind turbines. These are going to be over 1,000 feet tall, hundreds upon hundreds of them. They're going to litter our beaches. They use lubricants that are dangerous for the ocean to keep them spinning. At 15 to 20 years, they're out of service. Here's the real rub. The cost of wind energy for the consumer, for the ratepayer, is going to be double, triple. We don't even know. Even those companies, which by and large are foreign companies, will tell you, yes, your utility bills are going to go up, but it's worth a lot. Europe, France has moved away from this towards nuclear. So between nuclear and some fossil fuels, and there may be some renewables that are good, there's so many routes to go. But in the ocean, and I'll be specific, off the East Coast, it's not a good idea. So we spoke about an executive order. The president said to me, I want you to draft one. It doesn't mean they're going to use that exact one, but it was a very good start. I've communicated with the landing team for Interior, and you know, we're going to move forward with this. We have to save our oceans and our economy.
This is going to be a huge issue. Pay attention to this one. Mark my words. Jeff Van Drew, Congressman from the great state of New Jersey. Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.